Good afternoon, friends. Today we are starting a new unit in Writer's Workshop, How to Write a True Story. In a minute, but not yet, I'm going to tell you what the steps are to write a true story. But first, let's talk really quickly about how to make our writing easier to read. Last unit, your only job was to write about things that you knew. For example, we researched and wrote about turkeys or owls. We wrote like scientists about apples and pumpkins and spiders. But this time, your job is not going to be just to write. Your job is also going to be a reader. It's super important that you can read what you've written, because if you are super busy writing, and you go back and try to tell Miss Whitmer what you wrote and you can't tell, that means we probably need to clean it up a little bit. We need to slow down and make sure we can read our writing back so that other people can read what we wrote. We'll get back to that in just a minute, but for now, let me teach you the steps on how to write a true story. Over here, I have my board that maps it all out for us, okay? I'm gonna bring it over to the side, and it says how to write a true story. Now, Miss Whitmer's friends, this is a true story, so am I gonna see any ghosts? No, it's all about something that really happened to you. So could Miss Whitmer see you write a story about the playground? Yes, stuff happens on the playground all the time. I bet you've got plenty of stories built up already. All right, here are the steps. Repeat after me. Step 1, think. Your first step is to think of an idea. What's something that happened to you? Or what's something that you did? It could take place on the playground. It could take place at home. It could take place on an adventure that you took. For example, though, I haven't really been on a bunch of adventures with you outside of school, but at school, some ideas I had were the time we made applesauce, the time we cracked open that coconut, and maybe the time we had our fall party. All very exciting times and all really good stories. All right, so once you think of an idea, step 2 is practice. You're going to practice telling your story, but before you write it, you need to practice your storyteller voice. A storyteller voice is something deep down inside you that nobody can see. They can only hear it. And a storyteller voice doesn't sound like this. No, a storyteller voice is confident and it's loud. Not an outdoor voice loud, but a nice, confident voice loud. That means that I know what I'm talking about and I want you to listen, okay? When you tell your story as a storyteller, you want other people to listen. You want them to be interested and read your writing. So I'm gonna think long and hard, for example, about the time we made applesauce. And without writing a word, I'm gonna tell you about it with my storyteller voice. One day at school, we came in the morning and there was a crank on Miss Whitmer's table. And one by one, each friend brought up an apple and stuck it on the end and cranked that apple through the cranker. And guess what happened? Slowly but surely, each apple got peeled and shredded, and we put it in a pot. Then we added cinnamon and sugar and water, and it smelled so good. Miss Whitmer's friends, that sounds like something someone would want to do. I think we sold it pretty well to them. What if I told them the story like this? One day, we came to school, and we cut up some apples, and we put them in a pot. Is that very interesting? No, so we use a big, cool storyteller voice. Make your story sound interesting, okay? Super, super cool. After we practice with our storyteller voice for step 2, we move to step 3. Step 3 is tell your story with pictures. So will you get to be an illustrator and draw? Yes, you will. And words. So we're still going to be writers. But remember, this time, are we just writers? No, we are also readers. It's so important that we stop and go back and read our writing to make sure that it makes sense, that somebody could really read it. Awesome. So down here, here's an example. We need to draw pictures and write words to tell who was in the story. Was it just me making applesauce all by myself? No, I had 22 friends helping. Where? Where was our story? The setting. Was I making applesauce with you guys in the park? No, we were at Union Chapel at school. And then finally, what happened? Oh my gosh, that's the best part. That's the whole story. All right, finally, if you can do all three of those steps, there's a bonus step, an extra challenge. Do you want to know what it is? Say, what's that extra challenge? The extra challenge is adding speech bubbles, okay? A speech bubble looks like this. I'm going to erase my whole board and show you. A speech bubble you might have seen if you read any comics or if you've ever read books by Dave Pilkey. It looks like this. After I draw my picture, so right here, see, I'm going to draw just some stick figures. I'm going to draw me with my hair up in a bun and my glasses on, because you friends know I need my glasses, and my mask. Okay, and here are all of my friends sitting on the carpet. It's just a quick little drawing, so I'm not going to make it my kindergarten best right now. Sitting on the carpet, waiting their turn so patiently to make the applesauce. And then here's our table with the crank for the applesauce. Okay, Miss Whitmer's friends, a speech bubble looks like this. When we were making applesauce, I said, Miss Whitmer sang that song to you about how to spell the word apple. So I'm going to make a speech bubble that says, here is how I spell apple. To make my speech bubble, I'm going to write my words first. I'm going to say, here is there a Z in is? Nope. You can't fool me. It's an S. Here is how you, Y-O-U says you. Here's how you spell apple. Okay, that was kind of a long sentence, friends. So it's a good thing that I wrote it all down before I made my speech bubble. A speech bubble is when I come out from my head with a line, circle all the way around what I wrote, and come back to a point. So it looks like I said, here is how you spell apple to you guys, my story. But friends, that's the extra challenge. We have 3 steps to do before we can do any speech bubble. Our 3 steps are, repeat after me. Step 1, think. We need to think of an idea of a true story, something that really happened to us or something we really did. I could not write a story about how I've been to Disney World because I've never been to Disney World, but somebody else might have. But I'm going to write about what I've done. Step 2, I need to practice using my storyteller voice. So before I write anything down, I practice talking my story in a very exciting way. Step 3, use my pictures and words to tell the story of who was there, where we were, and what happened. After we get all 3 of those done, then we can do step 4, add speech bubbles. But for now, Miss Whitmer's friends, I'm going to show you an example of what your writing could look like by the end of this unit on Seesaw, okay? If you forget our chart, what we just made up here with the 3 steps plus the 4th bonus step, that's also on the same Seesaw activity, okay? I'm going to show you this example, and you're going to click the arrows to go through because there's more than one page, and you can get a sneak peek at what your writing might look like by the end of this unit. I would take a close look at how they, the person who wrote this story, made sure it was easy for you to read. I'll give you a hint. They added meatball spaces and spaghetti spaces. And what goes at the end of each sentence? My name is, I look like a dot. When you see me, you must stop. Okay, bye kindergarten. I can't wait to see what you do this unit.